I am Marwan Cameron, and this is The Conduit. All right, y'all. Man, this is number 3. It's been a long day. It is November 1, 2021. Only like what, 60 days left in this month? Woo. It's going quick. But I had to jump on because what's happening tomorrow? It's election. Got to vote. I'm hoping that you're going to go out there and vote. Don't vote. Hopefully you know what the issues are. You know who the candidates are. You've had a chance to do your research. For those that are running for re-election, did they do what they said? And obviously, you know, people can't get everything done that they pledge. But for the most part, did they stick to the script? Did they deviate? These are all questions that you have to answer for yourself. But I'm hoping that you will vote. And I'm definitely not going to tell you how to vote. But definitely down ballot is where you want to get involved for sure. So hopefully you are doing that. You know, I wonder, we've had a pretty interesting last 30 days running up to the election. And I've tried to stay in tune to what's been going on. And I will say, obviously, I'm not in tune with everything. There's going to be things that I've missed. But, you know, one major reflection is I don't remember any other, you know, major political attacks outside of the one against Tracy Flood. So whatever you feel about Tracy Flood uh, and her ability to be an effective judge for Kitsap County, uh, I think we want fair elections, right? Without the foul play that I think that took place between some folks at KCR and the Kitsap Sun. Um, so, like I said, I don't know if there were any other underhanded or dirty politics that went on there, and I don't even know if the Sun um, responded either to our podcast or other folks that lodged complaints against the way that they decided to report uh, the news, right? And I put that in big ass quotes. But I wonder, you know, they tell you you can't be doing a good job if everyone likes you. If everyone likes you, you're doing something wrong. And if they come for you, then maybe you're doing something right. The good thing about that is, man, they come for me all the time. I love it. Come on, keep it coming. So I wonder, why come after her so hard? Why come after her so hard 30 days out? You know, I don't want to cheat you to beat you, but some folks will do anything. Some folks will do anything. I think it might have been powerful if the opponent maybe came out and then spoke against what happened. I think that for me, as a constituent or as a voter, that might have um, had an impact on me. And maybe he did. It's interesting because I was watching a some YouTube videos, and I was just interested to see what uh, information people put out there. So in YouTube, I went and I just Googled Kitsap County to see what came up. You know, there's like local stuff in the news and whatnot. And there's not a whole lot, right? I mean, it's pretty interesting, kind of sad actually. I mean, it's a pretty historical place, very rich history, but a lot. not a lot came up. But there was this one black female who was married to a Navy person. I can't remember what her name is, but shout out to her. And she was talking about getting the hell out of Kidnap County. And she was talking about the racism that she experienced up here and, microaggressions and all kinds of other things. And so she's literally driving out of Bremerton and through Port Orchard and through Gig Harbor. And she's just telling this story about what her experience was and how her husband had come up here as a submariner and just her experience, right? And so it was interesting to hear. It was a couple years old, I think. It was either maybe 2 years old. It was interesting to hear her perspective on why she wanted to get out. Everything from, I hate pine trees, right? I mean, you got to get to a point where you really hate Washington when you hate pine trees. Uh, this is definitely one of the most beautiful places in the country, I would say. I've seen quite a bit, but to have the mountains, to have the water, to have the smell, after a rain is great. The scenery changes. You can see the snow-capped mountains, beautiful sunsets here. There's just a lot to appreciate here in Washington State. So when you get to the point where you're like, I hate the damn pine trees. Now, I mean, damn, you're ready to go. I will say, when fall comes, it gets wet and all that stuff tracks in. It does drive me crazy. I hate that part of it. But fall is my favorite season by far. I love the fall. I love the colors, the orange, the browns, the burnt, the dark yellows, the goldens. I love pulling out my winter clothes, buttoning up. I don't like the cold, but I like, the excuse to, get my Ken and Barbie on. You know what I'm saying? Pull out my scarf, match it with the tie. I like that. It's one of those feel good things, Have some of that good Northwest soup, just real comforting, right? Got some food going on in the kitchen right now. Smells really good. So just real comfortable. And so, you hear me say blessed and highly favored a lot. And that really is it. And I don't take it for granted at all that tomorrow's not promised and the privilege and the lifestyle is not promised. Tomorrow, everything can be all different and it can all be gone, whether it's an earthquake, a natural disaster, a sickness. And so you have to remain appreciative. I was saying since the first podcast this morning, I love Mondays, but I was having a Monday and I've had it all day, you know. Primarily, I'm just in a lot of pain, from the surgery. Uh, so it hasn't been a great day. But when you're in front of folks, you gotta put that smile on, right? Looks so weird without my glasses on. But you gotta put that smile on. You gotta present. You gotta be accounted for. Suited and booted. Folks are counting on you. It's not what you do when life is easy. It's what you do when life is hard. Can you be consistent through the ups and the downs? So you really don't want your highs to be too high. You don't want your lows to be too low. You don't want to have to pull yourself out of deep depression or sadness, nor do you want to be so euphoric and riding a high so high that you can no longer have perspective. So enjoy your wins, celebrate your wins, learn from your losses, but keep putting one step in front of the other. And that's what gets you through the day. So here it is, 9:40. Whew, on a day that started at a lot earlier than I typically desire. I'm more of a night owl. So if I'm seeing 6, 7 in the morning, I got a lot of stuff lined up. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'm going down at 2 or 3 in the morning. But it is what it is, right? But I hope you've had a chance to take a look at the candidates, look at the issues, make an informed decision. If you haven't, start getting involved now. And as I said before, power is taken, it is not given. And so if you do not like how things are going in the city or in the county or in the state, get involved and run. Fresh ideas, fresh perspective, what's needed, right? As I said, if I had the magic wand of democracy, folks would not have lifetime terms. They would serve a term and that's it. And they would be regular folk, not influenced by lobbyists, not leave office and then go work for the very people that were lobbying them. I think that would be far more democratic and folks would probably be a lot happier. Not to say that bad things can't and wouldn't happen because there's no system that's perfect, but definitely an improvement on what we have now. But it's getting cold, folks. Last night, right now it's 47 degrees according to my, oh, I dare not say the name because she'll start talking to me and I don't want that. You know what I mean? So, but yesterday, whew, I think it was 34, 35, maybe 36 degrees. It was cold. It was really cold. And the heat's been on. And as I was saying earlier, we have a sizable homeless population here in this county. And with the bridge ending, I believe it's only going to get worse, unfortunately. I was watching the news earlier and they were saying that we can have I can't remember the term, but they were saying because of social distancing, we really didn't have much of a flu season last year, and we may have a big flu season this year. So we could have flu and COVID at the same time. No moratorium, bunch of jobs, no workers, no unemployment. I think this is a recipe for disaster. So come January and February, although it is hard, and that's an understatement for many, so many in our county right now, I fear that January and February are going to be even worse for so many more. And many who right now are finding themselves housed, those that are finding themselves under a roof, those who are finding themselves with heat, those that are finding themselves with the refrigerator with food in it. Come January, February, I think there's going to be quite a few folks that are no longer in that position, or more and more of them will be hanging by a thread with the slightest disruption, unraveling their whole life. Their kids get COVID, they can't go to work. They get COVID, they can't go to work. A car accident, a layoff, a mistake at the job, you get fired. I was watching one of the videos on YouTube about Kitsap County, and they were talking about Kurt Weiss was on there, the previous executive director of the Bremerton Housing Authority, and they were doing these different cuts, and they were talking about um, one of the videos was showing how they were dismantling one of the homeless encampments, and they said, "Oh yeah, because they're going to be building a homeless affordable housing project here." And it's like, well, that's laughable. We know it's not affordable, right? It's like, what did they constitute as affordable? And then I'm watching another video with the man and woman, and they're talking about how, oh, rent right now is averaging 14 and $1,500 a month, and it's a great time for you to purchase a home, and it's like 3%. And it's like, yeah, well, it would be great. It is, the guy had remarked, he was like, yeah, these prices are like, the rent is the same price or more than my mortgage is. The problem is that if you're poor, they're not going to you don't have a down payment. You're gonna have a higher interest rate. So home ownership isn't gonna be something that you experience. And why is it so backwards where if you have good credit, you get to put a lower down and you get a lower interest rate. You actually have the money to pay a higher interest rate, to pay a higher down, but you get rewarded because you have good credit. If you have bad credit, you need a bigger down payment and you're going to pay a higher percentage rate. Make that make sense. So that's how the haves and the have nots continue to get wider and wider, right? There's no way for most of America to save for that down payment without having a life event happen, a livable wage, a breakup, a divorce, whatever the case may be. So wouldn't it make sense? Yeah, okay, you're more of a credit risk, so maybe you have a bigger down payment. But again, they just take the house back, they take everything that you paid into it, and they sell it to the next person. The question is how much is enough? How much money do folks need? You have Elon Musk and the other power brokers, right? They're racing now to the moon, to Mars. They're going into space. Right? They've done everything they can do here. Just saw an article on Facebook about how they're about to put $1 million into a park in West Bremerton, and I get it, right? There's budgets, right? This money is earmarked for that, so that has nothing to do with solving homeless or the budget for that or whatever the issues are in our county. But it's still hard to watch it side by side where you see a park being beautified or developed for the privileged that will walk their dogs or have their kids play and jump and have a good time when you have others that are actually sleeping in the park. Hard to reconcile that. And when does it get to a point where folks are so desperate that they begin to fight back? They've had enough. They have nothing to lose. Are we there yet? Suicide, domestic violence, murder. And I know advocates of marijuana are like, well, marijuana doesn't make you violent and it doesn't do like what the other drugs do and this and that. But we're listening to murder cases here in our area that are related around marijuana. Hell, the police were just surrounding the marijuana shop on Callow, what, last week before, right? Is they're trying to break into the marijuana shop? But no, that drug doesn't do those things. So where are we at? Folks are getting desperate and they're going to continue to get more desperate. And once they get to a certain point, they have nothing else to lose. We're watching people lose it on planes. That used to be like some kind of rare occurrence that would make the nightly news, the night news once in what, maybe once every few years, you'd hear about some kind of an incident on a plane. Now it's just standard fare, right? And kids all over the country are getting into fights and going crazy in the schools, and they're mimicking the same behaviors as adults. Somehow we're not making the connection. So we were social distance for a year and a half, and now we're thrust back together, and everyone's at each other's throats on everything. Adults, children, doesn't matter. Mental health, physical health, all these things diminish. And our government is telling you buy your Christmas presents. Get them now. Stay blinded. Stay pacified. Smoke your weed. Go Hawks. And when you look up, when you don't have anything, and they're able to just dictate whatever just for you to have a portion of what you had before. It's a scary time. To me, what's scarier is as a people, we're segregated, we're separated, we're still fighting each other. We don't know how to work together. We don't know how to see through differences. We don't know how to problem solve. We don't understand conflict resolution. We damn sure don't understand love, forgiveness, grace, understanding. None of those things have any concept in our consciousness. And we will forgive every other group, but we will not forgive our own group. We will not love ourselves so that we can love someone else. And we're all hurting. And you see us lashing out against each other, talking about our neighbor, talking about our friends, talking about each other, undermining each other, and not building each other up, not building community, not building resiliency. Not being accountable. We don't have to be accountable anymore, right? Well, it's this way because of my childhood. It's this way because of society. It's this way because of racism. It's this way because of the school. It's this way because, but at what point do we say, you know what? Yeah, that was my experience and it was bad and it shaped who I am and it made things harder for me. But that's not going to define who I am or my future or what I achieve or the person that I want to become. I claim power over that. As I said, power is taken, not given. But a lot of times people think it's power against the institution. But power is taken, it's not given. You need to take power from yourself, the power of self. Because once you have power of self, man, there's nothing you can't do. Folks tell me all the time that there are things that I do currently. They don't understand how I'm able to do it. I got a text, someone was checking on me. How you doing? And I said, I'm unstoppable. And they were like, what? Like, no, I'm unstoppable. I'm not going to stop. I can't stop. I'm like a shark. Stop, I die. Yeah, I need to take a time out every now and then. I need to take the bench, get a breather. I'm tired, Lord. I need to get back out there. I can't sit too long. I can't get cold. I don't want that shooting hand to cool off. They count on me to hit that clutch three. Do they count on you to hit that clutch three? Can you count on yourself to hit the free throw that you need in your own life? And what are you doing to get to the point where you are clutch? Are you practicing your free throw? You write your resume every day. So what you do, the decisions you make, the actions that you take, day in and day out, it's boring as all hell. I live a boring ass life. I don't turn up. I don't get crunk. It's not off the chain. It's repetition. It's boring. It's dry. It's slow. It's hard. It's methodical. But when I look back at the beach of all the footsteps that I've taken, I see the distance that I've traveled. I see the 16-year-old with the GED. I see the obstinate, ignorant, shallow, self centered, self righteous young boy that I was and the man that I am today. I see the growth from my 2021 self, from my 2020 self. And I make a plan of who I want my 2022 self to be. And I analyze and I look and I say, hey, are the steps that I'm making getting me to my goals? Put the proverbial paper, sit in a chair, put it on the ground. And right on that paper is what I'm doing right now, moving me forward in my goal. I would tell you what I'm doing right now is moving me forward to my goal. The conduit is so many different things to provide information both ways, to connect to people, to empower them. But if you drill it down, Pastor might say it's to love them. Maybe to be one of the only things in someone's day where you know what? That dude showed up today. He actually cares. I got another one in me. And that might be an hour or half a day or a month. So when I'm tired, I'm beat to hell, and I just want to get back in the bed, I carry on because it's required. But I can't do it by myself. You got to have a team. You got to have people around you that support you. You have to allow yourself to be loved, and it can be very hard if you haven't loved yourself, if you've been hurt, if you're guarded. You don't want to accept the help. I accept the help and I get to liking it, then when are they going to disappoint me? So I better not let them in. I could do bad all by myself, so I'm going to just stay alone. I can't risk the hurt, the heartache, the betrayal, the letdown. But honestly, until I learned that I needed a team and I can accept the team to a point, right? I'm a work in progress. My gains were minimal. But once I was able to let people in and say, you know what? Fine, love me. Maybe it won't work out, but I'll be better for it. And at least I'll know what it is when I see it next time. Because so many of us have never had that. We don't even know what it is. We don't know how to respond when we see it. We reject it because we're fearful of it. We don't trust it. We don't believe in it. Something must be wrong. What do you want from me? I got to keep you at arm's length. I can't show you my pain because you might use it against me. You weaponize it. I can't be vulnerable. I can't be honest because I've tried it in the past and I've seen how that's worked out. They tell me, believe me, believe me, believe me, believe me. I'm like, no, 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 no. Believe me. Okay. And that's when the dagger comes out. You're like, see? Don't be afraid. The only way to get through is together. You've got to find a way to work together. As bad as this is, 700,000 dead, people with long term effects, families that will be forever changed, breadwinners, patriarchs, matriarchs, pillars of families, children, legacies that will never become. And all that, and this ain't even nothing. All that and COVID ain't even nothing. We haven't seen anything yet. and we're not prepared. When do we get hit so hard that humanity must band together and put aside their petty differences? When will we be hit so hard that as individual groups, we say, you know what? You believe what you believe, I believe what I believe, but you know, we're standing together. Or is it your heart is so hardened? It's like, well, man, I made it here alone. I didn't make it here with you. I'm going down alone. I'm the hell with y'all. It's a horrible existence. I don't know why you believe you were born, why you're here, if you're supposed to learn anything, if there's any meaning to any of it. But if you do believe it, what does your life mean? Why are you here? What are you supposed to do? If you truly thought about that, what's your purpose? What is your purpose? And are you doing your purpose? And are you doing it well? I think those that reflect on their life, if they have an opportunity before they pass away, when they're able to answer that question, they feel a life fulfilled. Sure, they may have made some changes and did some things different, but ultimately they don't have regret. I would do some things different, but right now I have no regrets. God is good. Tomorrow's show is, well, it's going to be that too, but that was the wrong button. Trying to keep it nice and calm. But tomorrow at 12, we have Holly Baldstead from Kitsap Public Health. At 1 p.m., we have definitely a special show with Dr. Yah. I hope that you will join me. The Black and African Descent Collaborative for Prostate Cancer Action. If you fit the demographic there, 18 years or older, and you're willing to do the 1 hour phone or Zoom, the $50 stipend. If you're 18 years or older, African American, African descent, Kitsap County, and you join us on the Zoom at 1 p.m., I will match that at $25. Our health is important. Black men, you are needed. You are loved. Please take care of yourself physically. Please take care of yourself mentally. Please take care of yourself spiritually. Connect with each other on some level. Learn how to forgive. Learn how to move forward. Truly forgive. And not that, hey, I'll forgive you, but I ain't going, I ain't got nothing to do with that dude. He ain't really forgave. I'm not saying that you got to be his spades partner, but we got to do something different, folks. It's the only way we're going to make it happen. Hopefully tomorrow night at 5 p.m. we'll have Deborah's Corner. Please go ahead, take advantage of voting. If not, again, even more so, I hope to be maybe voting for you at the next election. I am Marwan Cameron. This is The Conduit. Until